right. Well, right next to me here to my left is Blake Trevisan. She is with Cotty Foods, which is the largest Wendy's franchisee, one of the largest Wendy's franchisees in the country. And she's focused primarily on the restaurant industry. She also owns her own business, her own marketing company that focuses on San Diego, Orange County, and Los Angeles. And then in the middle, we have Bridget Hanrahan, who is Associate Director of Marketing Operations at Subaru of America. Bridget has been with Subaru America since 2013 and is the Associate Director of Marketing Ops. She's responsible for the Love Promise, Subaru's Love Promise, if you've seen that before, national programs, product marketing, field marketing, and brand partnerships across the country. So there's little that she does not do. Her work encompasses developing brand strategies and campaigns, product launches, strategic and nonprofit partnerships, and experiential and field marketing. And then last, but certainly not least, is Mary Dewar. Mary is a former director of brand retail at the North Face. She's been with the North Face since 2007 and was responsible for consumer marketing to support the brand-to-consumer retail and wholesale partner business. She directed brand experience in-store for over 60 retail and 40 outlet stores, which drove $500 million in annual revenue. She also managed key accounts such as Dick's Sporting Goods, REI, and responsible for the co-op marketing strategy to drive through sales through over 3,000 wholesalers. She was also the executive producer of annual TV and digital ad creation and the seasonal content series. So I think we've got a very esteemed panel here. So let's start off with telling us a little bit more about your roles and the types of strategies and campaigns you and your team lead for your company.
Yeah, so as you said, we own and operate over 120 Wendy's, and those are located in Hawaii, California, and all over the Midwest. We also own and operate over 100 Taco Bells that are in California, and then we have 5 Pyologies in Hawaii. So we definitely focus a lot on local and super hyper local, just because we have 3 different brands across the nation. But I've been in the restaurant industry my entire career, and so I've really specialized in that, and also working really closely with operations teams to make sure that whatever marketing programs and tactics we're using, that they're all the way through the guest experience into the restaurant, and also getting our operations teams on board. So
absolutely, that's a challenge, right?
Sometimes very much so.
Bridget?
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So one of the things I want to talk about today is the Subaru Love Promise. So that's our commitment to do right in the communities where we work and live, and we do that through 5 pillars. Through Subaru Loves the Earth, Subaru Loves to Care, Subaru Loves Learning, Subaru Loves Pets, and Subaru Loves to Help. And so my team's role is to figure out what is the thing that the brand is going to do, what's the thing that our retailers can participate in, who are we going to do it with, and what's that message going to be. And so that's really kind of going to be the theme of what I'm going to talk about today. Thanks.
Awesome. Mary?
Great. Yeah, my role at the North Face was focused on how we were taking our brand campaigns and strategies for the season and extending those into our really diverse marketplace. So the North Face sells direct to consumer, but we also have a really large wholesale network. So making sure that my team was building holistic campaigns to extend those brand campaigns into different channels like department stores, sporting goods, and independent retailers. And some of the time we were building our own bespoke campaigns to make sure that we were supporting both the brand needs as well as managing all of our business needs as well.
Great. So how do you all balance the need for a consistent brand image with the necessity of adapting your approach for diverse local markets and sales partners? You want to take that one, Mary?
Yeah. So I think it's really about listening to the consumer in the markets and what's resonating with the consumer. So how is your creative? How is your imagery? How are your messages resonating with those specific consumers? As I mentioned, we have a very diverse wholesale marketplace, and consumer mindset is different in a department store versus a sporting goods versus some independent ski and board specialty stores where people are interacting with our product. So making sure that as a brand, we're the shepherds of our brand. We want to make sure that our brand imagery and messaging is authentic to who we are, but we also need to cater that specifically to the customers that are shopping in those different environments. For example, the North Face was based on this concept of athlete tested, expedition proven. And while we always want to showcase and feature our athletes in a really inspiring way, showing them ice climbing or skiing really extreme things is inspiring, but can also be intimidating to a consumer. So how do you make sure that you're still remaining authentic to who you are as a brand, but you're pulling down to that consumer and also connecting with them on a more one-to-one basis? So creating assets that are still authentic to who you are, but then connect to that consumer mindset in those different markets and different shopping environments.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah. So, so at the national office, right, we work with about 640 Subaru dealers that we like to call Subaru retailers. They're all independently owned and operated, so you can think about it like a franchise. But they all have a different way that they show up into the market. And I'm very fortunate to work for a car company that has a great deal of respect for our retailers and what their sort of individual identities are. So I would say that at the national office, we develop the love promise and the sort of like the brand message. What does the brand stand for? What is our offering? And then we turn that into consumer language for us when we're talking in our voice, and we turn it into language for the retailers when they're using their own voice in their market, and we ask them if they would use it. We give them, for the social impact work that the Love Promise entails, we would also give our retailers the campaign materials. We do that through Ansira, and we would also tell them what their individual impact was, right? So if they were doing something under the umbrella of Subaru Loves Pets, one of the things that we would provide back to them would be like the cumulative number of animals that they have helped move out of animal shelters and get adopted. And so that's now a tangible, sort of quantifiable impact number that a Subaru retailer has that they can talk about with their local community. So we of course, it would be great, right, if we all had consistency from our national office down to all of our individual retailers. But the way we look at it is, if we provide all of those materials and we get great participation, we have great support from our retailers, if they don't talk about it exactly the same way as us, but they're playing the same game we are, they're somewhere on the ball field with us, we take that as a win. We're really happy with that results, because what it doesn't mean, it means you have all of these voices in the market talking about their commitment to animals or helping people at the poverty line or helping people with cancer. So we're just happy, to have the retailers come along with us. So I think that answers it.
Does the field help too in selling in this to the dealers?
Absolutely. So very fortunate. We have a field marketing team. We've got 12 or 15 or so, and they consult with our retailers, talk to them about these Love Promise programs that we develop, and then our partner with Ansira helps our retailers, if they don't have an animal rescue that they're partnering with or an animal shelter, they help find them one, so that there can be these kind of one-to-one connections down in their local community.
I think I'm on the opposite end sometimes, and as a franchisee, sometimes, there's things that we need for our local markets, and sometimes we don't have the assets necessary to do that. And, sometimes we call it going rogue, and sometimes I'm guilty of that. But as a marketer, I do understand the importance of brand consistency. And so, we also work in co-ops with other franchisees. And so making sure that, we as a group, a collective voice, are able to get what we need. And just recently, working in partnership with Ansira, we realized that we really needed to better talk to our Hispanic markets, especially in Southern California and in Texas and in different pockets. We needed more. And so working with Ansira, we were able to get a toolkit and start getting assets that we could use at a very local level to start reaching that demographic. But we are people in the restaurants, and they know what's best and they know what they need. And so I found that when the end user has the tools that they need, then they're less likely to go out and start doing everything they want. And so making sure that they have toolkits and they have resources where they can easily access, creative or in-store POP that they could use for programs that helps create brand consistency, and you don't have people kind of creating all sorts of stuff and going off message. So
Right.
Yeah.
So moving on real quick, how has changing consumer behaviors impacted your marketing strategies?
I could take this one. So I think in the restaurant industry, consumer trends can be kind of volatile, and we really saw that during COVID. During that time, I worked with full service clients, brewery clients, and also fast food. And so while fast food seemed to flourish with the drive-through, full service really suffered. And so working with the teams to figure out how do we get people what they're looking for and what they need, whether that's changing menus to be more to-go focused. And then also that was when we really saw digital and mobile and third-party delivery take off, which has completely changed the consumer trends for the restaurant industry. And so that still continues to today. And so we've definitely shifted a lot of our marketing dollars into driving people to our mobile apps and driving people who are already on third-party delivery platforms to our business. But I think one really important thing is at the individual store level is that sometimes we can focus up here on the consumer, but we forget that our people in the stores are also, as marketers, our consumer, and we need to bring them along. So making sure that they're set up for success, because that's just as important from a marketing perspective. Guests are coming into our restaurants, and we want that experience for third-party delivery drivers and people picking up mobile orders to be the same. So whether that's adding mobile pickup shelves into the stores, or the appropriate packaging to make it easier, and putting taping it shut and making sure people's food, but also having our teams and a plan to focus on accuracy of orders is all really important. And so bringing it full circle and in those trends and making sure that we're reaching our guests, but also we're reaching the people in the field to make sure that everything works together.
Do you provide an incentive for the app downloads?
We do. With Wendy's, Taco Bell, and Pieology, there's all different types of incentives. Pieology, we just launched a Pies and Perks. So they run these promotions where certain times of the year, if you download the app and make a purchase, you then get entered into the Pies and Perks program for the year, and that will give you a free fountain drink, a side salad, or dessert with every purchase of a Create Your Own Pizza. So it's a great way to engage new customers to download the app and to continue to engage them throughout the year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Bridget?
Do you want to go?
Sure. Yeah. I was going to say, at our local level, events and community building activations is really important to us and rooted in how we kind of connect with our consumers at the local level. And we had to make some pivots during COVID when people were not, going to retailers, or they were not going to events. And so we still wanted to make sure that we were connecting with those consumers in those local communities. So being able to, pivot and adapt our events to be, podcasts or, call and listen in, type things. So, and now that people, that's behind us, people want to go do more events. So just being nimble and making sure that we're able to really react and listen to what the consumer is telling us and meet their needs has been something that has kept us busy, kept us on our toes, but making sure that we're, trying to still do those one-on-one community activations with our consumers during changing times.
Yeah, that's great.
Bridget?
Yeah, so we're quite dialed into our consumer and the topics that they care about, the things that they're passionate about. And from where we sit, it's not only our customer we are concerned about, but our other stakeholders, of course, our Subaru retailers, and then like sort of secondary stakeholders are their employees and our employees and different things like that. So we try to stay kind of connected to the things that those people care about. And for us, it means that, the business is going to go up and down, but we feel pretty committed to our path about social impact and leaving the environments where we work and live in a better place than we found it. So we're not that an organization that, we've had the Love campaign right since 2007. So we don't take any sudden movements. So we're going to stay the course with all of the things that are happening with AI and coming out of COVID and supply chain disruptions and all of those types of things. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
So tell us what tools, technologies, media tactics have proven effective in targeting and engaging local audiences? And how do you stay current on all the local trends?
So for the topic we're talking about today, for us, for the Love Promise, what we have found is that it's a very upper funnel message, right? It's a brand awareness message for our retailers. So at the national level, that's how we've built this brand, and it's how we've attracted all these wonderful consumers to us. Can I get a show of hands? Does anyone have a Subaru? Nice. All right. About 4%. That's about where we are. Does anybody want a Subaru? See me later.
You got a hand over here.
So what we've found is by starting Share the Love 16 years ago, and by offering a $250 cause marketing program that went to a local charity, it really helped us develop the brand and become a brand that was more that attracted people who have this more sort of civic mindset, this philanthropic mindset. And so we've continued that on, and now our retailers are coming along with us. So for them, through Ansira, we created a separate co-op fund that is intended for the retailer to talk about their unique local partnerships that they've developed and the organizations that matter a lot to them. And so that's one of the tactics that we've started to help people in that local community of the retailer understand who's behind that dealership, like who's behind that car dealer. So I think that's one example.
Yeah, consistency has been key for you all, right, over the years.
Yeah, consistency is important. So we do provide all of the assets and the toolkits and the customizable materials and everything. It's so important to us. It's been so important to our brand for these last 16 years. But this is it's a pretty big shift for a car company to market this way. It's a big ask. And so, we're just bringing people along with us, and as long as they're playing the same game as us, we're happy.
Yeah, getting a retailer to buy in on 5, charitable events throughout a year is a lot.
It's a lot.
Some of the other sales events as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. That calendar is pretty busy.
It's busy, and they put their own money into it, and that is. My husband is a small business owner, and so it's a very personal thing, and it means a lot. And so we just want to make sure that everyone is. They're a stakeholder as well as our customers in this set of circumstances.
Social media has been a big part of that too, right? Getting the dealers to post and about their efforts, their dog adoptions. And
absolutely. Yeah, we of course want our retailers to really show who they are, what they're about, what's their why. And so whatever media tactics makes sense. And in most cases, what we would recommend would be upper funnel media tactics for these types of messages to help attract the right people to them. And then, of course, like a lower funnel thing would be, of course, doing what drives our economic engine, which is talking about our cars and the awards that the brand has won and selling those vehicles. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned social. I think one of the things that, consumers are taking in so much, content right now, and we've tried to stay on top of that as well. One thing that we've been doing over the last 2 years is partnering with influencers who represent both our brand values, and the sports that we do and the apparel that we make, but that also have an authentic voice in like local communities. So kind of blending that, social part of it, but then connecting down to the local level. We've had a lot of success with partnering with influencers because it brings a more, one-on-one voice directly to the consumer. It feels authentic, and then we can also showcase our product in different environments, different end use, different skill levels, and it just helps to kind of open the aperture to our consumers and show a lot more range of use, diversity, et cetera. So we've seen a lot of success with influencer marketing lately.
Yeah, we just did our first influencer campaign with our LA co-op, and it allows us to have a more authentic and local message for our demographic here in LA. And so with the help of Ansira, we were able to do that, and it was really successful. We were where from a national level, they don't always talk about kids' meals and, the great salads and things for families, and they're focused on, either like breakfast or late night. And so using influencers at a local level, we were able to bring in like a family aspect and talk about, quality and kids' meals and all the different kinds of offerings we have where maybe that wasn't on national messaging, but national had that all covered. So what can we do to come in? Yeah. But we've also, I think in the restaurant industry, we also use still a lot of traditional media. So I always say print's not dead.
Yes. We say that around here too. In certain industries, it's still very valid and relevant.
Yeah, and so, while from the national and our DMA level, we use social and digital and radio and TV and, YouTube and all of these things, my company, we come in underneath and we use print to further help product launches and different things and help drive consumers to, especially individual stores. If we have markets that, we see a sales dip or we have a new store that we're introducing into the market, print is a great way. Not everyone has the Wendy's app, on their phone, or, they're not engaging with us in certain ways. And so everyone pretty much has a mailbox. And so especially if they're in a 5-mile radius around a restaurant, it's a great way to continue to reach people. But I think having a well-rounded approach and using all different types of platforms, so they're seeing us on social, they're seeing us on TV, and then they're opening their mailbox, and then there's a coupon for all the things they've been looking at the past few weeks, and now they have an exact call to action to come into our stores. So
The direct mail typically has a coupon, right?
multiple,
Multiple coupons.
like 12 to 16.
For Frosties?
There's always a Frosty coupon.
That's what's up.
And if you buy a Frosty keychain or a key tag or a Boo Book, you can get free Frosties all year.
That's what's up.
Outstanding. Sign us up.
Yeah. So I think maybe one thing that we've done to help our retailers understand the right media tactics. So back to your original question, Pete, is we've organized which media tactics are the right ways to deliver retailer brand level messages. That these are awareness. This is meant to attract people to your dealership in the same way that these folks are attracted to the Subaru brand. And then which are more like promotional based, right? Which are the more promotional based tactics? So in the case of like a direct mail piece to an owner or an email to an owner, things like that, or that's where we encourage car-based messaging to live. It should be promotional. It should be driving traffic into your store, those types of things. So that's how we've been thinking about and sort of picking apart our business at Tier 3.
You all have done some influencer marketing
sure.
as well. You've always kind of have with like the ski patrols and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, that's...
Before it was a thing.
So I say that Pete knows my business better than I know myself and my business. So Pete has been around Subaru since 2006?
Yeah.
2006. So before there were influencers, we had affinity groups and we had groups of people that we partnered with. And then with the rise of influencers, then we got very involved in that. So that really started with one of our vehicle launches a couple of years ago. And now it's really humming. So we definitely use influencers. They're right for some messages for us. They're not right for every message for us. And I think that it's a fun thing to work on. It's something that we're constantly iterating on and saying, well, that was a little heavy-handed with our brand message, and maybe that one didn't perform too well. And then like finding that sort of place on the continuum where all your messaging is like, you get as much messaging as you can where the influencer remains authentic to the brand and the platform that they've built. So
I think I feel like a Subaru influencer. I don't have the following, but I love my Subaru. And now my sister drives a Subaru. My mom drives a Subaru. My grandmother drives a Subaru. I will always drive a Subaru. They're great. You should all get one.
Wait, so I got my money right here. Yeah.
The common theme is love, though, right? Everybody says that about the vehicle. I love my car. I love my Subaru. They name them, So anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess probably for you, Bridget, in your experience, what does community, what role does that play?
Yeah, this is a really important part of our brand. We talked about the love promise and having our retailers really show up in their local market and sort of demystify who they are and what they're about, right? And show that they're about more than just selling cars. And so it's important to us. So one of the things we do is we just shine a big, bright, burning hot light on it when these moments of time are occurring. The one that we did most recently that I'm really proud of is we have a national partnership with Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish, if you don't know, helps children with life-threatening illnesses. And we had a regional PR program where we had our retailers were granting wishes, and our PR partner organized, the media to show up and those types of things. And it was so, everyone loved it so much. It got obviously a lot of pickup, but Make-A-Wish loved it too. So they were so grateful for all the awareness that brought to their brand, and they've got all these this backlog of children, right? So we do a lot with the community. It's really important that the retailer identifies what's important to them, what matters to their consumers and their community, and then really goes for it.
Yeah, that's key that they can select their own pet shelter or their own, soup kitchen, those types of things, right? So they know where they want to go rather than you being heavy-handed pushing it on them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it, is giving them choice. And so we have something we call hometown charities. And that is a big component of how our retailers represent us in their local markets. Pete, we have a question from the audience.
You have a question? Are the questions live?
I don't know.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Something's working. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been working for a while.
It's working. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I think what you were saying earlier, you guys don't waver from that. I think when, we were talking about this with the last panel or the last speaker presentation, is just really staying committed to your values and who you are as an organization, like even when there's, a lot of change happening in the world. So yeah, I applaud that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With Wendy's, they obviously have the Dave Thomas Foundation, which helps children in the foster care system get adopted, and so helping children is a big part of Wendy's. And in some areas of the country, they really know the Dave Thomas Foundation and understand it, but we realized in California, with different laws and things, it wasn't resonating as much with our consumer. And so we partnered with, it's called Katarina's Club. It's out of Orange County. And it's a gentleman who owns the Anaheim White House. And it's a restaurant, and he feeds thousands of children every week spaghetti dinner after school. These are kids who, the meals at school, the free meals might be the only meal they get that day. And so it was really important to us to help that group out. And so they run a Pastathon campaign every year with iHeartMedia. And so partnering with them, we collected donations, dollar donations in all of our stores, offered incentives for donating with coupon books. But we also attended all of the events that they held, radio remotes, and events where people literally drove and dropped off boxes of pasta and sauce. And so Wendy's was there supporting that and giving away Frosties and cookies and different things. But using that, we were also able to then in turn get over $250,000 worth of radio advertising during the promotion and the campaign. But iHeart has become, from that, a great partner. So anytime, we now launch products or different things, dropping stuff off at the studios and working with them has been great. But it also brought in a whole new audience for us because working with a local cause that was so near and dear to people. Those people, some of them never really thought about Wendy's, and so it's a great way to help the community and be involved and just reach a whole new audience.
Yeah. Weren't you telling me too that you're obviously in LA where it's a high media cost market, right?
Yeah.
So that $250,000 radio buy was probably, it was
otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford it. We have restaurants all over the country, and so when we do new store openings or we remodel a lot of restaurants, last year we had 40 different projects. So between remodels and new store openings, and so we kept our Ansira group pretty busy because we can't seem to hit a store opening date to save our lives. But radio is really cost effective in the Midwest and even in Hawaii, but in California, not so much. So Ansira has really helped us, to create different campaigns in different areas based on budget and where things are more cost effective and where things are cost prohibited.
Very good.